some vocabulary regarding circles. So if you haven't read through the vocabulary yet and the I can statements and the why, please pause the video and do so. And then read through this vocabulary here. All right, we have a circle that's the set of all points equidistant from a given point, which is called the center. We usually use a capital letter for the center. And any segment that's from the center to a point on the circle would be considered a radius. A chord is a segment with endpoints on the circle. And a diameter is a special chord that goes through the center of the circle. A secant line is a line that intersects the circle on exactly 2 points, and a tangent line intersects the circle at exactly 1 point. And something that we'll be talking about in the subsequent lesson, an arc is a portion of the circle's circumference. And the circumference is in the entire way around the circle or the perimeter of a circle. All right, so we're going to look at this diagram and decide what we have. Segment AC would be a radius. Segment AB would be a chord, but more specifically a diameter because it goes through the center of the circle. Ray DE is a tangent, and the point of tangency is B. That's where it touches the circle. And ray AE, line AE, is a secant line. It intersects the circle at exactly 2 points. All right, time for you to pause the video and go ahead and you take a stab at these two segments, AG and CB. All right, go ahead and check your answers. A couple of facts here. The formula for the circumference of a circle is either pi diameter or 2 pi r. D is the diameter of the circle and r is the radius. Another fact, when we include pi in our answer, this is the exact circumference. When we use the pi key on the calculator or a decimal approximation for pi, we are calculating an approximate value for the circumference. We're going to do a couple of examples here. We're going to determine the exact circumference of a circle with a diameter of 12 centimeters. So circumference is diameter times pi, and we add our units. The next one is determine the circumference of a circle with a radius of 4 using the pi key on your calculator, round to the nearest tenth. So we would start with the circumference is 2 pi times the radius, and we would get our calculator and type in 2 pi 4, and we get the circumference is 25.1 inches. This one says if a circle has a circumference of 22 pi centimeters, then determine the radius and the diameter. So to get the radius, we would take this and set it to 2 pi r, To get the diameter, we take the circumference and set it equal to pi times the diameter. And then we just solve for the variable. So we have the radius is 11 centimeters and our diameter would be 22. The circle has a circumference of 32 feet. Determine the radius and the diameter. So again, I would take 32, set it equal to 2 pi r. 32 times pi d. And we're going to solve. Okay, so that's 16 divided by pi, and diameter would be 32 divided by pi, and we get our calculator. Okay. Another fact about circles, the formula for the area of a circle is pi r squared. So we're going to do a couple of these. We want to determine the exact area of a circle with a diameter of 12 centimeters. Well, 2 radii make a diameter, so 2 r's would be 12 centimeters. The radius here is 6 centimeters, so my area is pi r squared. So I have 36 pi centimeters squared. Don't forget the units and that the units are squared. Determine the exact area of a circle with a radius of 4.5 inches. So area is pi r squared. And this would be 20.25 inches, pi inches squared. All right, determine the exact radius of a circle with an area of 16 pi centimeters. So area is pi r squared. Here area is 16 pi centimeters squared. So we'll solve this for r. So we have 16 centimeters squared equals r squared. I take the square root of both sides. We know we don't have to worry about the absolute value here because we're talking about a measure. Our last one here, determine the diameter of a circle that has an area of 14.5 yards squared. Area is pi r squared, so I have 14.5 yards squared equals pi r squared. We're going to divide both sides by pi. Then we're going to take the square root. And I'm going to get that the radius is this value, but I have to double it to get a diameter. So I think before I get my calculator, I'm going to write 2 of these 14.5 divided by pi, and then I'll put my units there, yards, and I put that all on my calculator, and I get my diameter is 4.3 yards.